Our world is delving into more insanity, my friends. This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. I don't know what to make of this. Of course, we've seen people like Ellen DeGeneres leaving the country. We've seen other actors melt down online, some of them looking like a shadow of what they used to. But now we have, of course, Rob Reiner has made the decision to take the next few days to check into a facility. We're talking mental, my friends. Facility for peace and relaxation. No phones, social media, no trolls, just calmness to heal my pain. And from what I understand, this didn't turn out the best. Apparently, it didn't really help him too much because those voices, of course, were still in his head. I don't know. It's just really strange looking into some of this, my friends. We're seeing actresses and also news hosts as well, things happening. We have, of course, Rachel Maddow, who just signed a deal to lose a ton of money over there at MSNBC. And of course, here we have the evolution of Rachel Maddow through the years. And apparently we were all correct, my friends. We were thinking it was Mark Cuban the entire time, as you can see in the latest photograph for this year. Or maybe Mark Cuban's becoming Rachel Maddow. I don't know which one it is. But we're going to get into a ton of stuff in this video. I'm not just going to be talking about this. We're going to be talking about sort of just the craziness in the world. We have a lot of different stories to get into. We're going to talk about recent episode of Bill Maher with Neil deGrasse Tyson on it. We're going to get into a number of other things, ironies, all galore around us. We have, of course, MSNBC saying that Twitter will be bankrupt. 2 years ago, it was saying that on air. Now we're seeing where they're at. They're apparently in that position themselves, while Elon's doing quite well. We're going to get into what's going on with Walmart and so much more. Of course, a lot of people are starting to say that 47 is the Antichrist. We'll get into that as well. And so much more. Let's just get going. We're also going to talk about Nala. At any rate, so of course we saw the thing with Rob Reiner here. I already went through that stuff. Then we have this strange clip. This was on, what's this guy's channel called? Shawn Ryan Show. Shawn Ryan Show, he's interviewing Angela Ford, meet the Army psychic who tracked spies, hostages, blah, blah, blah. All right, so this is a video on YouTube. She answers every question very confidently, no problems, talking completely normal. And there's one spot in the video where he asks her one question and she can't answer it. And she's like looking around and like acting really strange. Okay. And you can even see that a lot of people watched it. Let me see if I can show it. You see that right there? You see that little spike up there? People wanting to watch this little section because it is really bizarre. How she could answer almost 3 hours worth of questions, no problem, everything's fine. This one question sends her into a tailspin. Check it out. Let's just watch this.
Have you tried to look into religion at all, such as the crucifixion? You have? Do you not want to talk about that? Okay.
That's like the only question she wouldn't answer. I wonder where she's getting all her psychic abilities from. I wonder. She couldn't talk when she is asked about that question. That darndest little question, right? And she looked a little bit nervous, and I kind of feel like there was something that was not wanting her to talk about it. Oh, that Jesus guy. I thought he's just a figment, and he's not a real person, and oh, what are you making a big deal out of? Right? It's just kind of funny when things like that occur on video. This is kind of an interesting clip. Apparently, people trying to go to work. We have all these people protesting of recent, destroying, classical paintings that are worth millions of dollars, Now they're just sitting in traffic, obstructing people trying to get to work. Of course, this guy's... I've seen a few of these videos recently. People just getting sick of it. Check this out. This is awesome. And of course, other people start to join in because they notice that he's doing all the work. So some other drivers get out of their car and help, drag these, of course, people off so they can actually go to work. These people often doing these protests, maybe they grew up wealthy in some case, or in many cases, just protesting because they feel like, oh, it's oil and we can't have oil. And it's really, really amazing to watch this. I'm sure they haven't actually studied what the EPA does, the stringent standards, all this. It is extremely squeaky clean when it's being used, particularly in a coal-fired power plant, in cars. We have very stringent standards. It's really ridiculous. They act like it's 1960 where we're just dumping oil everywhere. That's not how it works anymore. But at any rate, so of course they've been taught this in school that, we got to save the earth. They don't even understand what's going on. They're still living back in the 1960s thinking that like somehow oil is so terrible when actually there's far worse things going on, right? At any rate, getting into some of this other stuff, we have here Neil deGrasse Tyson. Apparently, he stands for science, but he doesn't know what a man is. He doesn't know what a woman is. It's kind of amazing, actually. And Bill Maher, of all people, calls him out.
Sometimes you don't sound that way. That's what worries me.
Well, actually, you're the guy. Hey, you're the guy who doesn't understand why the NBA team can't beat the Lakers. So I don't know. You're supposed to.
He's talking about a different episode before this where Neil couldn't admit that the Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA, couldn't beat the Lakers.
You're supposed to be the scientist, and you couldn't even admit that. But as far as medicine goes, I could talk to you this about all day. But again, we do have a party to get to. Wait, this is not your field. You're not a doctor.
No, but I'm a scientist. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's not a doctor.
No, hold on.
That's not a doctor.
I'm a scientist who knows probability, statistics.
When I get a goiter on Uranus, I'll call you.
That's awesome. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the fact is, Neil can't even admit what is a woman. And, of course, he's still placating to that whole thing. And on the previous episode, they were talking about this magazine, Scientific American, where they were publishing things where it's not the fact that men have more physical strength and things of this nature and dexterity. No, it's actually just social conditioning that makes it so women can't compete at the same level as men. It has nothing to do with physical ability whatsoever. This is what they put in the Scientific American magazine, and she was fired, properly fired for it. And Neil couldn't even condemn that, of all things. I mean, it's so obvious that's not scientific. That's the entire point. That's why I've always thought this. As first, they compromised with this whole topic of science by letting science run amok and go way beyond science in many respects. And now we're seeing the fruits of that. Getting into some other things, we have, of course, CNN losing tons of views. I think they're down by half. I think MSNBC is down 40 or what was it? I can't remember if it was, it's basically half as well. It was like 40 or 50% down. So all these different new networks are not doing too well right now. And of course, they predicted that Twitter would be gone by now, and instead it's them that are going to be gone at MSNBC. Maybe even Elon will buy it from what has been said. Clearly, people are still not fully there. I think it's safe to say that there was a little bit of, propaganda out there. Just a little bit. Just a wee bit. And people drank all the Kool-Aid, all of it. And they drank the whole pitcher. You know what I mean? But of course, we're seeing that also with the economy. We had Alan Lichtman couldn't even call the election correctly because he didn't know his own keys And he didn't understand the economy. The economy is doing terribly because he doesn't look at the data. He just believes whatever they said on CNN, MSNBC, just believe what they said. He didn't actually look at the actual data to know what was really going on. And of course, now Walmart issues a warning to customers about possible price rises. I got into that over my other channel. What they're trying to do is they're trying to claim that these tariffs that are coming are going to cause them to raise their prices. But let me explain something. Why is Walmart saying this? They're not being fully honest with what's going on. Let's just put it that way. Because if they were, they would point out, oh, actually, he said that he would lower our taxes by half because right now, C Corps, which is what I believe they are as a C Corp, they're a corporation, are paying 30% taxes right now. And as soon as he gets in, he says he's going to make it 15%, which is what it was when he was in before. I believe it was. It was much lower than 30. Maybe it was 20. It's 15 or 20. So he's going to make it 15, half as much for the taxes. Yet for some reason, they neglect to tell you that in this article. And they just keep saying, oh, he's going to make tariffs and it's going to cause the prices to go up. I think they're just looking for a scapegoat for, this is the reason why the prices went up. When in reality, they're going to go up no matter what. And if she got in, they'd probably even go up higher than when he gets in. This is kind of my thoughts on it. I think the tariffs are not going to make it much higher for them, actually, because they're already going to get 15% discount on their taxes. We're going to get into a ton of topics in this video. We're going to talk about what BlackRock is doing. You're not going to believe this. We're also going to get into how a lot of people just keep assuming things are going to get worse no matter what. They're saying that 47 is the dark one and this is the end. And then, of course, they're bringing Elon in on it, like the mark and all this stuff. And it's kind of, I understand where they're coming from because, like I said, this comes back to the whole eschatology topic. I used to believe that no matter what, it's going to get worse as well. And the problem is a lot of people are not realizing that even in the church, the devil's working. They think it's just on their phone, in the media or something. No, it's everywhere. And we're going to get into that. And actually, let me just show you that real quick. Who funded these ideas that we're going to be beamed out of here? Like the movie The Left Behind series, where it says it's just going to get worse no matter what. And then we're going to be zapped out of here. That came from, believe it or not, this guy, Roth, of course, Child. He funded these ideas through John Darby and the Schofield Bible. The literal Left Behind, of course, series is based on his ideas. People don't understand this. We're going to get into that, of course, and tons of other things. First of all, I'm going to mention that we have a giveaway going on right now. I just started this thing. Actually, while you're watching it, it's already open. It says 86 minutes here. It's already open. All right, go check it out. Link is in the description. You're going to definitely want to get involved. This is sort of a Christmas giveaway. It's because my channel, Sale Daddy 1, has now over 200,000 subscribers. I'm going to be giving away a half-ounce gold American Eagle, 5 1-ounce silver American Eagles. This is about $2,000 in value. I'm going to give away a laptop, $400 in value. I'm going to give away 3 months of food supply for about $800 value. And you can easily increase your odds of winning by simply going through this list below. And all you have to do is put your name and email. It's very simple. Name, email, and then just click a bunch of buttons. It will pop up to my other social media. So some of these, you'll get like more entries if you follow me on X or Rumbling or a lot of these other websites. I have a lot of alternative websites, my own website, of course, email lists, things like this. Or if you even refer a few people, you'll get a ton more entries. You could easily make this like a 1 out of a 500 potential of winning. In some cases, if you just go through the entire list. A lot of people don't do it all. A lot of people just do a few of them. So if you do the entire thing, you have a much greater chance of winning. Link is in the description for this. Also, of course, you might want to go check out Food Supply. Even if, you potentially win this, you got like a 1 in 500 chance. It's still wise to go pick it up if you haven't already. Link is in the description for that. Also, and all my other social medias linked below. The fact is, you want to definitely check out that giveaway. We're talking, I don't know, it's like $3,000 worth of stuff I'm giving away. So check it out. You also will be able to follow me on all my other social media while you're signing up for it. Let's get back to the video. So we have a ton of stuff to talk about. Of course, this guy here is asking the question, is 47 the Antichrist? And what's interesting about it, this guy's a reverend, and what I thought was interesting is when I was looking at his bio, where did I see that? Yeah, he says it right here in his bio. It says my pronouns are he, him, his. And I was like, oh my goodness, seriously, bro? Okay, all right. So that's in his bio. That's in his little description of his video, okay? This guy's asking if he's the anti-one, right? And again, this all comes back to this predominant teaching, particularly in the Protestant church. And I've highlighted this channel numerous times where they have a massive video talking about this, how sort of trying to convince people that it's not good to have a Christian, of course, nation. Like, it's not good to have religion, of course, in schools. It's not good. This is how they're talking. And I'm like, what are you doing? Are you serious? We had prayer in schools before, right? Back some years ago. It was a lot better going back then. Now, we haven't had it for many, many years. Look where everything's at. It has not got better. It's gotten way, way worse. I think it might be wise to go back to where it was. But of course, these people are arguing this way because they think it has something to do with, like, this will turn into something wrong and bad, just like The Handmaid's Tale or something like that, which of course is ironic because these people are believers and they're basically agreeing with those on the other side. Basically, I mean, it's simple as that. Putting God, of course, back in schools is a good thing, right? And I talked about this before, but the fact is, it's just ironic where our world is at. You have people like Nala here. It's amazing to me. I mean, you have these influencers. I've been talking to one of my best friends lately over the last month or so, last couple months, and I'm astounded at how many influencers are getting in trouble, faltering, getting caught doing stuff. And it's just like these ministers. You got these ministers dropping like flies every time you turn around there with the secretary or something even worse. And I'm like, bro, what is going on here? It's everybody dropping like flies. And I'm seeing it with these YouTubers as well. And influencers. They're just like, their lives are in shambles. When you actually start looking into their lives, you're like, bro, what is going on with these people? Like, I feel like I'm weird because, like, I'm normal. I feel like I'm like, I feel like I'm just an average Joe, but like, why are these people all into these really crazy things and getting caught? I'm like, what is up with these people? I don't get it. And of course, this lady, she now says she professes she's a Christian now, but she can't even, it is so amazing. She doesn't even understand the Trinity, and she's teaching people about God. She doesn't even believe Jesus is, God. She doesn't. She got questioned on this and kept saying he was the Son when she was on this whatever podcast. And then in this clip, she basically admits she lied about everything. Now some are saying, well, she's not admitting to lying about her current stuff. But the fact, if you watch the episode, she's very cocky. She's very overconfident, and she doesn't even know what she's talking about half the time. Which is really, it's like she basically was trying to move from one empire to another. Like, she had her only, fan empire where she made all this money. She's like, okay, I'm married now. I can't do that anymore. So I got to somehow transfer that empire over to this empire. I'm the goody two shoes believer now, and listen to me because I can lead you to the right direction. Like, what is this? Okay, so I'm going to show you some proof, 100% incontrovertible proof that she's straight up playing everybody. Let me just show it to you. Okay, we have this right here. It has a number of videos on it. Now, this one, let's see if I can show it on the screen better. Come on. Here we go. It's on January 7th. You see that? See that? January 7th. Okay. And she's still advertising all her stuff, her content. Okay. On Only, of course, Fan. January 7th. When did she get baptized? If I can get it closer on the screen, maybe I'll show. December 18th, 2023. Right there. That's before the other thing I just showed you. Okay? That's almost a month. It's 20 days before she did that advertisement for her Only, of course, Fan site. And I've seen numerous texts. I've seen a lot of evidence. Okay? There's a lot. She had the thing open into March. Okay? Like, until the time she's finally going to go on Michael Knows, which was in April. That's when she had the whole thing cleared out. And everybody's like, see, I told you, she really converted. Really? So it took her 4 or 5 months to finally get rid of it after she had her baptism. And she is still advertising it for a couple months after her baptism. So, okay, whatever. And now she's extremely confident how she talks. Really brazen. Just you try to question her on anything, she's just shoots down your question immediately, acts like, oh yeah, of course, I'm doing everything right. And it's just amazing. And she doesn't even know. So she grew up Baptist, but she doesn't even know what the Trinity is. Does that even make any sense? How can you grow up Baptist most of your life and not even know the most basic stuff in your faith? And then somehow now she's leading people the right way. Whatever, dude. This is like a complete joke. And if it was a guy doing this, and we do have examples of YouTubers that were guys, real guys, that got caught doing stuff, and no one gave them any excuses. They gave them no leverage whatsoever. We caught you, you're done. A woman does it, it's okay, she's changing. It's just really kind of funny to me. A little bit of a double standard, let's just put it that way. At any rate, of course, a nice clean set. Got the pillars. Michael knows he always has the clean looking set and everything. And here we go. This is her father, who used to be a Baptist minister. Listen what she had to say about her father. Oh my goodness.
My dad encouraged me to stay on Only.
Notice there, I'm not going to play the whole text there. You can read it on the screen. Her father, who used to be a minister, encouraged her to stay on there because he was making money off it. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. Hypocrisy knows no bounds. Of course, you have all these ministers that have fallen of recent. Tony Evans, Carl Lentz, and actually a plethora of them during the summer, just in Texas alone. You have the latest new one here. Former Daystar executive and wife accused Joni Lamb of covering, of course, up some sort of, abuse. We have that news story. It seems like every week there's a new one. And, of course, now the Church of England appears to stop using the word church to sound more relevant. Words like community and congregation, they want to be called a community now. No longer want to read scripture and pray in no, it's not a church, community building. Instead, now they want to go for outdoor walks and hikes and observe the nature and make sure you never mention that word Jesus. I don't want you to mention that word. Yeah, so that's the latest from the Church of England. And so it shows you kind of how strange our world has become over the last so many years. And of course, something that I got into a previous video a little bit about was, and I was looking more into this, the whole date thing. I mentioned how the Encyclopedia Britannica talks about how they changed the calendar. And I keep trying to do searches on Google, and my friend was like, no, Mom, you just got to type in Julian calendar. What year is it? And it gives you this weird number, 2777. And then you type in Roman calendar, and what year is it? And it won't give you the year based on the AM1 calendar. No matter what I type in, I can't get it to tell me the actual original dating method for what year we're in. So if you went back 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, and asked them, what day are we living in? What year is it? They would all have essentially the same answer. They would be using the same calendar, and they would tell you what year you're in. Now, if you try to ask that question today using the same calendar they used 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, if you asked anybody, they don't know the answer to this question. If you ask Google, it won't answer the question because we don't use that calendar anymore. We use a different calendar that is nothing like the one they used to use. This calendar is based off the Masoretic, 5785. We're not in year 5785, AM1. This is AM3, and they tell you it's AM1. I learned this from Encyclopedia Britannica. So there was an AM1 calendar, and they believed right before the fall of Rome that they were going to be entering into the millennial reign, the 1,000 years. Your king and king, paradise on earth. Most people believe that, and apparently Jerome and Augustine didn't like this. So Jerome introduced a new set of calculations called AM2, placed the incarnation roughly 300 years earlier, which means he basically said he was born 300 years earlier. He basically lied. He lied when he was born, the King of Kings, just so he could get people to stop talking about this. And then they made up an AM3 calendar around the 6th to 9th century via the Masoretes, who decided to change some of the numbering in the OT, change when people lived, the dates. I've shown that before. And most everyone just believes this stuff today. They just believe what these modifications. They don't ever question this. And it's really hard to find any information on this. But if you look into some of the early fathers, they'll tell you, based on the old calendar system, what year we're in. Here's an example. All the years of creation of the world amount to a total of 5,698 years, odd months and days. Theolophus of Antioch, AD 169. You add that all up. 2024 minus 169 equals 1,855 years plus 5,698 equals, we're in the year 7,553 according to Theolophus of Antioch. Yet they tell us that we're in this year. And it doesn't matter what you put in the search engine, you will never get the number 7,533 or 7,553. You'll never get anything remotely like that. It doesn't matter. You can say, I want the Septuagint calendar. Tell me what it is. I typed in everything. I couldn't get it to ever say it the way I wanted it to say it. And I find that really interesting because it says in Daniel 7 that they will change the times in the dividing. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is the wrong one. No, this is the wrong. I'm on the wrong one. Okay, where is it? No, yeah, here it is. This is the right verse. It says here, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, shall wear out the saints and the Most High, and think to change the times and laws. He'll change the time calendar, which they did. They changed the time calendar. And the reason why I point this out is because if you read the apocryphal literature, many of them say that there's 6,000 years, and then there's 1,000-year reign, millennial reign. And according to the original time calendar, that happened during the Middle Ages. So the exact time frame, according to the original calendar, is that the Middle Ages would have been the millennial kingdom. And it's just, go figure, really strange that the Middle Ages was exactly 1,000 years long, and predominantly the church was over everything. That's kind of strange. And of course, there's a pope in the middle of it or a pope in the beginning of it, right before this millennial kingdom happened, named Pope Sixtus III, Pope 6 and another 6, because the word Sixtus is 6 in Latin, 6 3 times. And it says to watch out for this number. And of course, if you get into, and it was really bothering me. I was in church today and I'm just like, why does no one know any of this stuff? Why am I the only one talking about this? It's so bizarre to me that no one knows this stuff. And so if you look into some of this history of the fall of Rome, perhaps the fall of Rome was that battle we got with the anti-one. And that it was way back when in 440 AD, approximately. That's when Pope Sixtus was. And guess who he was friends with, by the way? Pope Sixtus III, before he was a pope, was friends with St. Augustine. And St. Augustine is the father of theology for the Catholic and Protestant Church. Oh, that's a little strange. The friend of Pope 6 and another 6, Augustine, is St. Augustine the most revered saint that teaches us everything about our... You see what I'm getting at? Isn't that a little weird? Isn't that a little strange? And of course, Jerome was the first person to suggest only having 66 books in the Bible. Oh, that's a little strange. And of course, there's a verse that says that they will do this in 2nd Ezra 14:44. I've talked about all this stuff before. 2nd Ezra 14:44 predicts its own removal from Scripture. It was removed 200 years ago. It says right here, Ezra was essentially commissioned by God to rewrite the entirety of Scripture all at once. And it ended up being 94 books at his time. And it says, and then the Most High said, make public the 24 books that you wrote first. Let the righteous and unrighteous read them, and keep the 70 for the wise among your people. So these 24 books, what does that equal? Well, go look at how many books are in the Hebrew Tanakh. In the Hebrew Tanakh, how many books are in the Hebrew Tanakh? 24 books, just like it says in the verse. Make public the 24 books. This is the Old Testament. This is the 39 in modern day translations. Where are the other 70 at that are for the wise among your people? Well, the word apocrypha means hidden. It was hidden from most people, and it's for the wise among your people. And Esdras happens to be one of these books, and it was removed 200 years ago from the King James Version. So if there was only 24 put in the OT and there's actually 70 more good ones that are inspired, that's a lot of books. That's a lot of books. You see what I mean? That we don't even know where they're at. We might know where 30 of them are. I don't think we know where all 70 are. It's quite a few. And I don't think it's referring to the NT either, because this is back way before the NT when this was done. So, you see what I mean? So, 70 books, we don't even know where they're all at. We know where some of them are at. Book of Enoch, obviously, is probably one of them, because it's literally quoted in Jude. But so, it is interesting. We don't read any of these books. Perhaps they give you better context to what's really going on back in those times, and everyone ignores them. And there's one called Sibylline Oracles, and it talks about a lot of really interesting things. I'm going to do a video on that next. It actually talks about, all these Greek myths about these gods like Prometheus and all this. I'm going to do a video and actually relate it to the movie Alien Romulus, or is it called Alien Romulus? I just watched it last night. And you're not going to believe how it connects. And the story of Prometheus, the original movie, and how they had some edited scenes cut out and how it relates directly to these ancient texts and these ancient legends. And actually, we have the Sibylline Oracles that literally concur with a lot of these ancient tales about the Titans and everything. And it's a New Testament text that no one seems to know about. We'll get into that in the next video. Kind of what some of you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. And thanks for watching.